welcome back. So in this video we are going to understand the Leetcode problem number 955, delete columns to make sorted one. Sorted two. Okay, sorted one we have already solved, right? So this is the video sorted two, and in the next video we'll understand sorted video 3. So let's try to understand what the question is saying. That very first, what we have given. So we are given, what are the things we have given? We have given an array of string. So we'll say we have given an array of string. Okay, this is what we have given, and all of equal lengths we have given, and all of equal length we have given. Can we say that? This is what we have given, and it is saying our goal is to, very first we can say is, it is saying we can delete whole columns, right? It is saying we can delete whole columns. Okay guys, means not character individually, right? Not characters individually. Can we say that? So it is also saying after deleting some columns, right? After deleting some columns, when we compare the string, strings from, we can say, top to bottom, right? Top to bottom, row by row. Understand? They must be lexicographically, they must be lexiographically, means you know the dictionary, right? Dictionary order. Okay, so we want to delete as few columns as possible, right? So in short we can say we want the list of string to be sorted from top to bottom, right? So if we are removing some columns which is needed, will to make them sorted, we have to remove the minimum number of column to achieve, right? It means if we want to speak in short, so in short we can say, what we can say, we want the list of strings to be what? Sorted, right? How? From top to bottom, correct? If we are removing some columns, right, is needed to make them sorted. Okay, and remove the minimum number of what we call columns to achieve that. Okay, so let's understand very first what we are trying to understand here. So what we have given here, it is saying that we have given an array of string and all of equal lengths we have given. Okay, so array we have given and its length is equal. What is our goal? Our goal, we can delete the whole columns, correct? Not characters individually, right? So after deleting some columns, right, when we compare the string from the top to bottom, right, row by row, they must be lexicographically, means in the dictionary order, right? So we want to delete as few columns as possible. So can we say, in short, we want the list of string to be sorted, we can say from top to bottom. If removing some columns is needed to make them sorted, so remove the minimum number of columns to achieve that, right? So this is what we have to do, guys, right? Let's understand further here. So let's try to understand through the example, right? So we'll understand through the example. So let's suppose we have given input is, let's suppose very first we have given is CA, then we have given is BB, then we have given is AC. So these are the array we have given. So these are the strings. Okay, so these are the string. We can say, we can represent how? We'll say row 0, we'll say we have CA, right? Then in row 1, what we have is BB. Can we say in row 2 we have is AC. So can I say that these all become what? Column 0, right? And these all become what? Column 1, right? And we know that we have to compare how? Row by row. Can we say that? So if we want to compare row by row, what we need to do, right? Very first is that you compare first, compare row 0. Let's suppose at row 0 what we have? We have CA we have. So we'll say, okay, row 0 we have is CA we have. Mark it in the string. And with who? Row 1. Row 1 what we have is BB we have. So very first, when you are doing comparing this, what you will compare? So look at column 0. So you will say, you will see what we have. We have C. Is C is greater than B? No, right? C is greater than B here we have, right? Which is not sorted. C is greater than B, right? So we'll say it is not sorted, right? Means it's our bad case. So it is a bad case. This means what? It means, let me write here, okay? This means column 0 cannot stay alone. Why? Because it makes string unsorted, right? So what we should do? So we'll say, okay, let us check column 1. So in column 1, what we have? Let's see. So we'll say the column 1 characters what we have. So we'll say A, B and C. So we'll say, okay, is A, B, C are sorted? We'll say yes. These A, B, C, these are sorted. Means column 1 characters are sorted. So if we delete column 0, right, we keep what? A, B, C, right? This array, right? So if this array are sorted or not, we'll say yeah. Now the array is sorted, right? So we have to say now is that the minimum deletion is 1, right? So this is what we have to develop. Okay, let's try to understand how we are going to implement this. Okay, so understand the implementation. Okay, so very first, think that we have 2 pointers we will take, right? One, pointers is very important, right? So very first, think that we compare what? String, right? So we compare a string row wise that we have seen, right? And check columns one by one, right? One by one we can say, correct? So we'll say, okay, in that case, let index I, so the index I is the index over columns, right? And we'll take R, index R, which will go index over rows, right? Or you can take C for column and R for rows also. It's fine, it's all are good. Then I'll take one more thing that is called sorted, and I will put R here. So we want to check whether row R and row R plus 1 are already sorted. Is it confirm? That we want to check, right? It means if you talk about the initial state, what will be our initial state? So let's think about the initial state now. Okay, so I will say, okay, we have sorted state, and initially we'll say, okay, we'll take false, false, but we have to use this for what? Comparison, right? We have to do the comparison between 0 1, let's suppose, and 1 2, right? Then we'll take a column that will start from 0. So let's suppose in very first step, what we should do? In step 1, check column. Okay, column 0. When we are going to check the column 0, means what? When we talk about the column 0, let's suppose we have characters. Let's suppose we have C, B, and A that we have seen, right? So come here, let's confirm again. Yeah, C, B, A first, right? So column 1 we have seen, we have C, B, A. So when we have seen, we should do what? We should compare. So you will do compare. So compare the pairs first, we'll do. So we'll say, okay, compare row 0 vs row 1, and here you will say row 0, it is okay. So row 0 and row 1 will compare here, right? So once you compare this, right, then you will see that C is greater than B, we have seen, which is happening what? Decreasing. It is decreasing order. And this we have seen, this is our bad case, means bad column, right? Then we saw that we have row 1 vs row 2, and we have seen B is greater than A, and it's also decreasing. So this is also a bad case, right? So column 0, right, complete column 0, we can say violates lexicography lexicographic order, we can say, or dictionary order, we can say. Lexicographic order, it's values, right? And so that we'll say, so delete column 0 and delete count, we will take as a 1, correct? Now once we will check column 0, means we'll compare the characters, column 0 characters, and what are the characters we have seen? C, B, A. So very first we will check C and B, and then we'll check B and A. So both cases it's coming bad order, right? Lexicography is, it's not happening. So we'll say this column 0 is a bad things, right? So what you need to do, we'll move to the next column. So in step 2, we'll move to column 1, we can say. Previously we have gone to column 0, now column 1. So we'll say, okay, what are the column 1 have characters? So characters that we will check, that we can say, let's check A, B, C. We have seen that we have A, B, and C. We have A, B, and C. So you can see here, if we'll compare this character A, B, C, right? A and B, B and C, these are the characters we have. So we know that these are the sorted one. But let's compare the pairs. What are the pairs we have? Very first, row 0 vs row 1 and row 1 vs row 2. Means, is A is less than B, or we can say B is less than C. Yeah, both cases. So both are sorted, right? So we'll say, yeah, these are sorted and both are true, right? So we'll say, we'll put on the sorted. So let's put on the sorted at 0. We'll mark as a true, and here we also say sorted and we'll mark as 1 and we'll say true. So these both are true now, right? So we'll say, okay, so now all pairs are sorted here. So we'll stop here and we'll say, what is the result now? So we'll say result is 1 deletion that we have seen, right? 1 deletion. So this way we can implement the things, right? So as we have seen that, what we need to do, very first we will compare the string row wise and we'll check column one by one, right? So we will take over the columns, right? So it will give all the steps and there will be the rows, right? And we'll keep sorted at R whether the row and the row R plus 1 are sorted or not sorted. If it is sorted, we'll store true, otherwise it will be false. In the initial state, the sorted state is nothing but what? We'll take false for 0 1 and 1 2, let's suppose, and column is 0. So very first we know that over the columns 0 will go, so column 0 will check, right? We know that we have given what? Two columns we have given in this example. The very first is CBA and another is ABC, right? So this is our column 0 and this is our column 1. Now what we need to do for the column 0, we'll check the things. What is the column 0 we have? We have CBA. Very first you will take C and B pair and then B and A pair. So we will compare these pairs. So we'll say, okay, row 0, row 1, let's compare. We'll say C is greater than B. It's decreasing order, means dictionary order, it's a wrong, or lexicographic will say it's wrong. And say again row 1, row 2, it's B is greater than A. So we'll say this also validates the lexicographic order. So column 0 completes validates. So we'll delete the column, let's suppose delete the column 0 and count is 1, we can say. Okay, so column 0 we have deleted and delete count become 1. Now we'll move to the step 2 where we'll have the move to column 1, and in that case we'll say, okay, the column 1 characters we have is ABC, that we can see in the table. Now we have to compare. So if you'll compare these two, you will say both are good because A and B is there sorted and B and C is sorted. So both are sorted. So we'll say sorted at 0 is 1, sorted at 1 is not 1, it's true, right? We'll say sorted. So now all pairs are sorted. So we'll stop there because column is completed, and delete count you will see. So it is a 1. So we'll say 1. So what we have learned from here? Let's think here. Okay guys, so very first think about the intuition. Understand the intuition, right? So what is our idea, we can say, right? Very first our idea is we can scan, right? We can scan column what? By column. So we can scan column by column, right? From where? From left to right. Can we say that? Then a column is deleted. We'll say a column will be deleted or is deleted only if keeping it makes the order invalid. If we will keep that, or if we'll keep that column, then if it makes it invalid, then we will delete that, right? Then we will maintain a sorted array, we can say, to track if a pair of rows, we can say a pair of rows is already what? Known. Can we say? So if a pair of rows is already known, right, to be what? To be ordered. So future column do not need to check those pairs, right? So future columns do not needed to check those pairs. Understand? And in the last, we can say, once a pair is confirmed, right, what? Sorted. So we can ignore, right? We can ignore it in future comparison, right? Now we'll say, why does this work? Okay, so very first you think that because the lexicography order is determined. Can we say that is determined? How? Column by column, right? So as soon as we fix or break a pair, the relationship will remain, right? So thus the greedy approach is iterate through the column by column, and for each column check if adding it maintains the order for all the unsorted row pair or not. So if not, delete the columns, otherwise keep the column and update the pair where this column helps, right? So we'll say this is our greedy approach. Greedy approach. What is this approach? We'll say, yeah, let's understand. Very first, iterate through what? Columns. Once you iterate through the columns, then for each columns, we can say, for each columns check if adding it maintains the order for all unsorted row pair, right? If not, delete that column. Delete the column. Simple. Otherwise, very first you keep the column, okay, or update sorted pairs. right? Where the columns, we can say where these columns helps or not. If it helps, keep it. So this ensure minimum deletion because we only delete when false, right? So you have to take it. Now we'll understand the code, right? Because the code is important. So very first, let's think that we have given public int and we have a method. Let's suppose min deletion, right? Here we need a string and we'll call this as a size. Okay, this is what we have given. So what we need to do, very first I will say find the size, n equal to the string we have given. Let's suppose, let's give not the size, keep a string here. Okay, so we'll say a string dot size we can find, or no, not size, let's say length we can say, right? Length is a function. So you'll string dot length, so you'll use the, you will find the size. Then we'll find int m and we'll say what is the value, we have a string at 0 and we'll find the length. So we will find the length. Now we'll take a boolean and this is called array and name is sorted as we have understand, and we'll define new boolean and we'll define the size n-1. So we'll say int deletions equal to 0 and we'll take a for loop. We'll start from int, column is 0 and column is less than m, column plus plus. Take a boolean, we'll say boolean bad equal to false, right? And now you check. So we'll take a for loop and we'll go for all rows, right? So rows will say define its int, right? Row is less than m and row plus plus. So you should go row -1 actually. Okay, because if we keep checking this column and column makes unsorted pair, that can be invalid, right? So we should make a condition and we'll say if not sorted, very first on this row, and check the str at row dot char at the columns. If char at columns is greater than, what greater than, str at row plus 1 dot char at what, the column, correct? If this is the case, mark it is a bad and return true and break here. So this is what we have to do, guys. Okay, so once this is done, you just need to check what, okay, if it is bad means true, deletion, do plus plus and continue. So all those will be get continued, right? Now you will make a for loop again and you will check for int row equal to 0, row is less than n-1 say, and row plus plus. Okay, very first you will check if not sorted, you will add row and str at row char at, and you will pass the column, right? Column like this, and you will check if str at row plus 1 dot char at, you will pass what, column. If this case says, then we'll say okay, sorted at row equal to mark it true, mark it as a true. Once these are done, right, you just return deletion. Okay, this is what we need to do, guys. So as we know that, what are the things we need to do? Very first, given string, you find the n, then you can check one of the size, because size are equal. So you can define the sorted as a boolean. So whenever we find the sorted, we'll mark is a true or false. Deletions we have to return, so define it. We have to iterate over the columns. You check the bad, initially it is bad or not, this column is bad or not. You will check for the rows, all the rows. You check this row is sorted or not sorted. For each row and row plus one, you will check the at what is we have at that column. If they are lexicography greater than, we'll mark. If it is good, right, we'll say okay, it's not bad, make it as a true, and we'll break it. So like that we will check all of them, and we'll keep checking. If the bad is true, means deletion, we'll say plus plus, and we'll keep continuing. Then we'll check for all the rows. We'll keep checking. Not a row sorted, we'll check the row and row plus one. At each column we'll mark it as a true. So row, if it is less than, right, lexicographically less than, in that case we'll mark the sorted as a true, and the bad, it is not bad. And so we have checked, we have increased the deletion plus plus in all the cases. So we'll finally will return the deletion plus plus. This is what you need to do, guys. So in case if you have any questions, you can ping me in the comment box. But if you like this video, please hit subscribe this channel, and please share this video with your friends and your colleagues who is preparing for the FAANG interviews. In case you are seeking with a structure way of learning, you can join our online classes, and you can do inquiry with our team. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and let us know what you want to learn next in the comment below. And thank you for watching this video.